and I quote, wedge driver as a threat to the GNU. Of course, we had Helen Ziller recently talking about how you are trying to be the tail that wags the dog. Adrian Basson had this to say. I actually have to read it because I nearly fell off my chair. He said, Ramaphosa needs to take charge and show Lesufi who's the boss. And then effectively said that the Gauteng province must be placed under some kind of administrative leadership. Basically begging Ramaphosa to, I don't know, remove you from Gauteng. How do you respond to this narrative that has started to grow around you from some quarters that you are trying to divide the coalition government?
Well, it's during the apartheid, we call it Stratcom. The apartheid regime established a machinery to badmouth or instill fear in white South Africans. So here it's the same script, but different actors. During that period, the apartheid regime said or punted a message of swart gevaar. That black people, if they take over, they will kill your children. Black people, when they take over, they will do all these bad things, drive you to the sea and all other things. Such an extent that on the eve of freedom, some people went into mountains, bought their food to stay there, and stocked food. Immediately after freedom or 1994 breakthrough, they then have this thing called Rooi Gevaar. Everything is communist. Communist wants to take over the ANC, and when communists take over the ANC, your property is our property, your food is my food. So they punted that message. And when that message could not succeed, they identified certain leaders of the ANC. They call them hawks or radicals. Chrisani, Joe Slovo, the leader that groomed me, Harry Kwala, Winnie Mandela. And said, no, these ones are good, but these ones, they're bad. And that's how Chrisani was assassinated. So there were leaders that were labeled as bad leaders in the ANC. So the regime is doing the same with me. They know my view about the Bella Bill. They know my view about NHI. They know my view about race. I hate racism with passion, Sizo. I hate it. But I'm addicted to non-racialism. You can't claim, because racists are mindless, useless, poor thinkers, selfish and greedy. They feel everything belongs to them and them alone. Any other person must join on their terms. So you must be this black person that listens to them, dance to their tune. And I'm not that person. I'm not going to do that. I'll never dance to a tune of a white person who's racist in particular. I'll never dance to a tune of somebody who feels that they're superior. I'll never dance to a tune on somebody that feels that they've got the birthright to control our lives and other things. They might have oppressed our grandparents and succeeded. They might have oppressed our parents and succeeded. We tested them and defeated them. And they can't reverse that defeat by wanting to oppress our children and our children's children. It will never happen. And we'll be the last bloc to defend that. Whether they label us the way they want to label us is up to them. But racism is something that cannot be embraced, cannot be negotiated with, and cannot be tolerated. It must be crushed, and crushed mercilessly. We must not tolerate somebody who wants to hide behind the broomstick and say, no, this is my cultural right. I mean, how many cultures do you have? People from Venda, they have their culture. Who disrupted their culture? If they want to practice their culture during their national days, they do that freely in a free South Africa. Why a certain race believe that they must be alone, and they must be them alone, do things alone, take their children to a school alone. Any other culture must not come. If you want to come closer to them, you must make an application in your own country, creating no-go areas in our country. It can be. And if I have to pay the price of insults because I'm standing firm on those views, if I have to pay the price of being recalled by a president because I'm standing firm on that, if I have to be insulted by Gokzile because I'm standing, let it be. What I know, it's quite clear that some of the media houses are hired guns, that some of the media houses lack the creativity and the analysis and the independence that they're supposed to uphold. And I was not surprised. You must check News 24 or Naspers, the first quarter of the declaration of political funding, who they funded first. They funded the Democratic Alliance. So whatever the Democratic Alliance, we know News 24 will be the publication that must amplify their message. You will check when News 24 was attacking former Deputy President Mashatile, which political party did it go to the Union Building to demand the resignation of? It's the DA. So I'm not worried about hired journalists to attack me or analysts. I mean, you check the last Sunday newspaper, 3 columns in the Sunday Times, one message, this PANYAZA LESUFI. And there's no decision that I've taken alone. The decision to establish a government of provincial unity, it was the national office bearers of the ANC who took over the negotiations. They deadlocked with Helen Zille. I was in that meeting. He knows that they deadlocked with our national leadership. And the national leadership gave us the go-ahead to establish government after we've postponed the announcement twice. So why will they openly lie and say that we're establishing the government of provincial unity in Gauteng to spite at national leadership or to demonstrate that we are rogues? We are not.
And it was the same for Tshwane.
It was the same for Tshwane as well.
You got the national go-ahead for that.
Yes. So they're barking at the wrong tree, crying at the wrong funeral, trying to establish whether they can link me to things that they've done worse. I can tell you, shocking things where they're trying to recruit people to say things about me because they feel that there's nothing tangible that they can get to paint. You know, a leader that is not accused of being corrupt in South Africa is not a leader. So they must find a way of dealing with these particular issues. And purely because of the standpoint that they've taken. And Sizwe, we remain strong. The DA is not a branch of the ANC. Helen Zille is not a member of the ANC. And the African National Congress must be given space and time to resolve its internal issues. It can't be pressurized by outsiders, where even a senior editor of a publication have the nerve to instruct our president to say, remove this one. It's not a good black one, this one. The others leave them. They're good, black, they're cooperating. Only this one. The apartheid regime undermined my father. The apartheid regime took over my brother. The apartheid regime refused me to choose a career that I loved. The apartheid regime denied my family an opportunity to be a better family because they took somebody who was about to be a breadwinner out of that family. We've gone through pain. But what did we say? We want to live together with you. We didn't say you have oppressed us. We didn't say you have thrown us in homelands. We didn't say you have denied us good education. It's our turn to oppress you. We said regardless of the pain that we've taken through, we are prepared to stay with you. Those that we say we are prepared to stay with you are showing us the middle finger. Say, according to their culture, they don't want to stay with us, regardless of the pain that they've had. They've killed our brothers in June 16 in Soweto on the basis of language. Today, they want to behave as if they don't know why June 16 was there. It was a language thing that denied us a quality education. But they want to behave the way they want to behave. And they will not find it. They might have oppressed those that have oppressed, but will never oppress our children and our children's children again. And the Bella Bill, it's a stamp That cannot be erased. They can want 3 months to negotiate on it. It must be implemented the way it is, and no one must tamper with that particular. It was passed unanimously by Parliament, and it must be respected if they want to respect the law. They can't say we must respect